Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Let us look at health and from an Indian perspective. See, as per the World Health Organization's definition, if a health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely absence of disease or infirmity. This is very good overview health. But practically, how do we achieve health? Right now, there is a major question. Now, health and happiness seem to be the most pressing problems of humanity now. To achieve health and happiness, one needs a practical approach. And what is that? So, in the Indian thought process, we look at health as a balance of doshas. What are the doshas? They are three in number: Vata, Pitha, Kapha. When these are balanced, it's an intuitive view. When these are balanced, then you have a state of a vibrant health. And where your Agni, your digestive fire. See, whenever you go to a doctor, first thing they ask is about appetite. So, the digestive fire needs to be robust. Then that's a strong indicator of good health. So, a good Agni. And the various metabolic processes lead to a vibrant state of physical health. And corresponding to that is a vibrant state of mental health, which a symptom of that is a state of positive emotion, a state of balanced emotion, a state of what you generally call as happiness. So these twin aspects of health and happiness are very important. No? In fact, the whole world is engaged in this, in pursuit of this. Pursuit, various philosophies, various things, but practically to get there seems exceptionally problematic. So we are going to look at a practical, intuitive, inner view of what health and happiness is. So towards that, when we look at Tridoshas, Vata, Pitha, Kapha. Vata, there is no translation of this in English, but let's say Vata is to do with wind, Pitta to do with fire, and Kapha to do with the body, you can say, building up process. Okay. Or generally it's translated as phlegm, the three humors. One way to understand this is seeing that Vata is the quality of movement. For example, the heart pumps blood throughout the body. That quality of movement is called Vata. In yogic terminology, we call that Vyanavayu. No? There is the Panchaprana or Panchavayus. So Vata is the quality of movement. Pitta is the quality of transformation. For example, my eye takes in signals and that is transformed into cognition. That is also Pitta. The food that I take in is transformed into food. That is also Pitta. So Pitta is the quality of transformation. And Kapha is the quality that produces stability, or being together, holding together. So these three, the quality of movement called Vata, quality of transformation called Pitta, and quality of providing stability called Kapha, can be looked at as Vata, Pitta, Kapha, or the Tridoshas. Why are they called doshas? Because they are in dynamic balance. It's not like rule based. They are in balance. But anytime they can get imbalanced, and hence you need to maintain that dynamic balance. So this applies to happiness as well, where you're being happy, that also is in state of dynamic balance. Anytime you can lose that. And hence you will need to invest intelligent awareness in setting the conditions right for this process of health to happen, for this process of happiness to happen. Humors. Okay. In order to understand this, it's also important to understand how we actually relate to the universe. It's not that we are separate from all of this. And hence, in Sankhya philosophy, Sankhya Darshana, or the Indian philosophical thought, we look at all of these as evolutes. The prime principle is called Purusha. So Purusha, differentiated as Prakriti, and the Mahat was born, which became aware of this differentiation. And then from there, individuated consciousness was called Ahankar. I, as separate from not I. That's individuated. It's all based on the same fundamental fabric of Purusha. But seemingly this happens. And hence I as non-separate from these. For example, you can intuitively understand this. Now science tells us this is all atoms. Atoms are broken down into subatomic particles. Those are further broken down, and then you have quarks. And then you have particle-wave duality. The same thing looked at from one angle is particle, another way it's wave. And wave, where does it begin? Where does it end? It's quantized. Otherwise, it's just spread out. And hence there is no beginning, no end. And hence, apparently, it has been differentiated. This different individuated consciousness is called Ahankara. And from that Manas, which through Sattva creates all the senses and the evolutes, Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, so on. And through Tamas, it creates all the Panchabhutas and the various, the materials to put this body together or put this universal body together. Okay. And hence, these Panchabhutas, they interoperate to form this bodily stuff. So we look at this entire universe, Prapancha, made up of the Panchabhutas. What are the Panchabhutas? Akasha, that means space, Vayu, air, then fire, Agni, Jala, water, Prithvi, earth. So these are evolutes from the previous one in that order, in that sequence. And that they lead to the Vishayas or the objects of the senses. And hence the senses are also evolutes of this. And when they resonate with those objects, that's when cognition happens. See the beautiful interplay of all of this. It provides a holistic framework for us to understand everything. Theory of everything. So, these Panchabhutas, when you take water, or let's start with Vata, space and air joined together, that's when Vata, that principle of Vata is created in this body. Fire and water joining together creates Pitha. Why fire and water? It seems contradictory. No. You will see sulfuric acid is Pitta, hydrochloric acid. We say digestive fire, it's to do with acidic properties. That is Pitta. And then when water and earth combine together, Prithvi combine together, it's called Kapha. Okay, this is how the body is formed. Likewise, when we look at happiness, it's to do with balance of the gunas. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. When Sattva predominates, there is balance, and hence there is the feeling of positive emotion. When Rajas predominates, there is imbalance in a certain way, and hence actually sorrow predominates. Predominates means it's not always that way, but it predominates. When Tamas is there, it's neither happiness nor sorrow. It's like a don't care condition. No, you can get into such don't care conditions. Now we see many zombies. It's Sattva does not predominate, Rajas does not predominate. It's happiness, sorrow, no recognition of that, no recognition of any differentiation. This is not balance, this is below balance imbalance. It's an unconscious condition. So we see these three, Vata, Pitta, Kapha with respect to the body, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas with respect to the manas. When there is balance of these doshas and the gunas, then there is health and happiness. When there is imbalance, then various problems are caused. Now let's look at the body, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Generally, with respect to, now we have generally nutrition, generally people consider health to be good nutritious food and exercise and you are okay. So what is meant by nutritious diet? See, nutrition, this much calcium, this much protein, this much vitamin, this much minerals. How you have these many carrots, beans, vendeka. How do you put that together? It's confusing. No, it becomes a very, you need to put in so much effort to be able to actually balance these vitamins, minerals, proteins. But if you look at the Indian approach, you'll see each has some qualities. It's called rasa. So we talk of 6 tastes. So what are the 6 tastes? One is sweet. We know that. Second is karam. No. Third is sour. Pulip. Fourth is, it's bitter. Kasap. Fifth is, it's, astringent. Tuvarp. It feels, puckering taste. It creates a puckering taste. And then you have salt. Uppu. All these 6 tastes. That's why we call that in Tamil Aruchuvai Unavu. Aruchuvai Unavu means of food that is prepared as per scientific process has this balance of these rasas, shad rasas, 6 tastes. And each taste has a specific effect on the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Okay. So each taste has a specific effect. So for the effect, we will look at some charts, which will give you an idea. So if we look at sweet, it increases Kapha and decreases Pitta. If we look at sour, it increases Pitta and decreases Vata. If we look at salt, it increases Pitta, it decreases Vata. If we look at bitter, it increases Vata, it decreases Kapha. If we look at, spicy, karam, it increases Pitta, it increases Vata, it decreases Kapha. And then when we look at astringent or tuvarp, it increases Vata, decreases Kapha. So this is how each has a specific impact. And hence when we have the right combination of things, that's why in the Indian cooking style you will see there will always be this, what is it called? Anjalai Petti. So, which will have mustard, cumin, coriander, everything. They will. Each person uses the same ingredients, but kai pakum, you put, and the taste is unique. That's why you become homesick when you come to hostel, because the mother's that hand is not there, so to speak. So you don't become sick because of the hostel, or because you have run away from home, because that's how homesickness is. But it's because of that taste, I'm just kidding. So it's not applicable to you. So this each has a specific impact. When all of these are balanced, then you will see it's nutritious diet. Now the same nutritious diet, when offered to each individual, does it create the same impact? No. Some have ice cream and do not have any problem. Some have ice cream and always have a problem. So that's where differentiation, there is differentiation with respect to the body. That's called the body prakriti. So the body prakriti, you also look at in terms of which quality is predominant, which dosha is predominant. Vata, Pitha, Kapha, Vata, Pitta, Pitta, Kapha, Vata, Kapha. Like that, there are combinations. You can identify what your body type is. So when you understand your body type, you understand your Agni, appetite. You also understand the food. Then you will see there is a right combination that you have, which nourishes you. And that nourishment means that actually the food that we take in, step by step, that becomes this body. It's very important to understand this. The food that we put in, step by step, it becomes this body. How does it become the body? We put in that food, it is digested, the process of digestion happens, and then it's converted into what is called rasa. So, the essence of the food is extracted, and the residual stuff is sent out as mala or waste stuff after the process of digestion. So the essence that is extracted, the sara, it's converted into rasa. Rasa means, you'll have seen, if you get hurt, first blood does not come out. There is a non-odorous, colorless, odorless, colorless a liquid that comes out, sticky liquid. That's called blood plasma. So that is rasa dhatu. These are called dhatus or tissues or fundamental elements of the body that make up the body. So the rasa dhatu comes up. And after a lot of transformation, that rasa dhatu, some of the rasa dhatu is converted into rakta dhatu, which is the blood tissue. After a lot of transformation, some of the rakta is converted into mamsa or flesh. After a lot of transformation, some of the mamsa is converted into meda or fat. After a lot of transformation, some of the meda is converted into asti or bone. And then further that is converted into bone marrow or majja. And finally into shukra dhatu or the reproductive essence. That's how systematically the food becomes you, step by step. And hence what you take in terms of not just the physical food, the air that you breathe in, the water that you drink, all these become significant because that becomes this body. And at each step of the transformation, if there is any defect at that process, the residual stuff gives you what problem is at which stage. Even now with diagnosis, that's how doctors do it. First they test your stools or urine, urine sample. Those are, transformational procedures. The residual components are tested to find out what defect there is. But here we have much more depth because at each step there are residual stuff which can be tested and finally, diagnose at what level of transformation, what problem arises and hence how to fix it. But the best is having a balanced diet and having good, robust Agni. Then you can enjoy and also be healthy. The same applies to being happy. So what you take in through these senses, what you see, what you hear, that should not create imbalance. That should be nutritious. What you study, what you speak, it should be nutritious. It should enhance your enthusiasm and inner vigor, inner strength. That is considered good food for thought. And then you will be happy with the balanced state of emotions. Likewise, food is supposed to nourish and create balance. Then systematically the food that you have eaten, it gets converted and that's what the body is. That's why it's in yogic philosophy it's considered Annamaya Kosha. Anna means food. Annamaya Kosha means that which is made up of food. So that's how significant this is. So we have looked at Vata, Pitta, Kapha, the Shad Rasas, the 6 states, the body constitution, how systematically the food becomes this body, step by step, and how balance of mind creates happiness. Happiness is not a state of excitement. Excitement is rajasic, where excitement leads to depression. The opposite is, it's like two sides of the same coin. But this is in terms of a balanced state of mind. And hence, health and happiness are significant, not investments, but actually, if one does not invest in health and happiness, then you will see every other investment becomes meaningless. Now, when I say it's not investment, that means it's so fundamental that you need that in place, without which every other investment becomes meaningless. So I wish you all a healthy and happy life. Om Namah Shivaya.